Hello and welcome to day 12 of our October Pilates challenge. Something a little on the lighter side for our Monday. Go ahead and grab your mat or towel and let's get started. Begin with your feet hip distance apart, soft knees, sinking the sit bones into the floor as we lengthen through the spine. So drawing the abs into the ribs tight, feeling that lift in the core, and then reaching up to the top of the head. Let's take the hands behind those knees and inhale, round across the spine, drawing the abs and ribs in, widening the shoulders, and then exhale as you sit up long. And inhale, breathing into the back of the body, and then exhale up long and tall. And inhale as you round it back, and exhale up long and tall. And one last time, inhale as you round back, and exhale up long and tall. Hands go behind you, fingers pointing in the same direction as those toes, keeping a softness in the elbow, and then lift the chest up towards the sky. So starting to feel a nice stretch across the front of the shoulders, drawing the abs and the ribs still in, as if you could reverse the curve of the spine, and then allow the knees to pivot over to your right side, rolling across the glute, and then up and over to your left side, keeping the chest centered. And let's go ahead and breathe through that little stretch, starting to create some mobility and space around the hips and the lower back, keeping this expansion through the chest and the front shoulder. And side, and one more full set, to the right, and to the left. And then bring it back into the middle, walk those hands back up. And then I will actually face you for this one. Let's go into a butterfly stretch. So drawing the bottoms of the feet together, wherever that feels comfortable for your hips. And think of lengthening through the spine here. So we've started waking up some length in that, starting to feel out the core muscles, drawing those abs in and up, tightening the rib cage, feeling that float in the whole upper torso. And then take the whole spine in this stretch as you inhale and pitch the spine forward. And then exhale as you lengthen up tall, reaching out through the top of the head. Let's take that a few times. Inhale as you pitch forward, starting to open across those hips, lengthening through the tailbone. And then exhale as you lift up tall, scooping the core and ribs together. Inhale as you pitch forward. And exhale up tall, adding on to that. Inhale as you pitch forward, and then stay there and adjust those arms where that feels comfortable for the chest, for the hips, for the spine. And breathing through that as you lengthen the tailbone behind you and you reach the chest forward, keeping those abs pulled in strong. And keeping that sense of reach, right? Noticing what's feeling tight or compressed around the hips or the lower back. See if you can breathe into those spaces. And continuing to reach the spine, walk yourself to your right side, and I will mirror you. So reaching over that right side, continue sinking your left hip into the floor. And you create some more deeper stretch into that lower back as we breathe into this sense of space and length, reaching through the spine as well as reaching through those hips. Breathing into that new position, keeping the core a part of the work. So you're still scooping those abs and ribs in, feeling that support. And now opening through the chest, reach your left arm across you into a diagonal. So if you need to adjust that bottom arm, you're welcome to. As you reach through the torso, keep that opposite hip relaxed into the floor. And now focusing on your left shoulder. Go ahead and squeeze that shoulder up into the ear like you're creating a shrug, and then release that shoulder down. And shrug the shoulder up, closing off that space. And release down. And doing that one more time, shrug the shoulder up and release down. Now keep those front ribs glued together as we expand the shoulder. So you're gonna open that shoulder into a big circle all the way around and reach it across. And inhale. inhale and exhale as you reach. One more time like that. Inhale and exhale as you reach. And then reversing that. Inhale around and exhale as you open. And inhale it around. Exhale, stretch, scoop those core muscles in. Inhale around, and then use the arm to fold you back in. Feeling a deeper sense of stretch and space along those ribs. Walk yourself slowly all the way across to your left diagonal. Pausing here as you breathe into that lower back, as you relax your right hip into the floor. Deep breath. And now taking that right arm and reaching across you in that diagonal, feel free to adjust that other arm so you feel the sense of length happening across that torso. Draw the front ribs together still. And now adding that shoulder, go ahead and shrug the shoulder up and release down. And shrug the shoulder up and release down. One more time, shrug and release. Taking that arm for a big circle around. And open through the chest, and 2, and open, and 1, and open. Reverse that, opening through the arm, and reach it across, and 2, and reach it across, scoop the low core in, and 1, and this time let the arm curl you back into the floor. And then walking it to center, feeling out some renewed length across those ribs and spine, and then rounding it all the way up. Fantastic. Go ahead and draw those legs together, and then reaching the legs long. So this will be a circular motion through the rib cage. So taking concepts of our roll up and of neck pull and all of these wonderful spinal articulation exercises that we do within Pilates, and thinking of this in continuum to feel out all the vertebrae, feel out the core support as we do this work. So lifting up long and tall through the torso. And as we're doing that, try to relax the shoulders out of your ears. So draw those abs and ribs into you. Think of lifting up and out of those hips. And you may feel those hips and thighs trying to grab as we do this. Try to relax the bones onto the floor, right? Feel some weight in those legs. And then let's go ahead and flex to those feet here. So you reach through the back of the leg, activating a bit of a calf stretch. Lengthening, scooping the low core in, try to lift those ribs up a little higher. And then we're going to inhale and pour forward as you lengthen through the legs. And then exhale, round through the spine, flexing the toes and lift up tall. And inhale, pour forward, lengthening through the toes and ankles. And exhale as you round it up, lifting tall. One more time like that. Inhale, pouring forward, long spine, long legs. And exhale, flex and reach. Now think of it as a reverse circle, so going forward and up. So inhale, point those toes, dive it forward. And then exhale, flex to the feet and lift. And inhale, diving it forward, rounding through that spine. And exhale, flex and lift. And one more time, inhale, dive it forward, and exhale, flex and lift. And then release. Fantastic. Go ahead and roll those shoulders back. 3, and 2, and 1, and then reverse that. 3, and 2, and 1. Bringing those feet wider than your hips. Now I'll pivot again so I can face you. Wider than your hips. Now toes can either turn out or go parallel. Either way, you want to make sure that the toes and knees are in alignment with each other, okay? So within that, think of pressing up through the core muscles, right? So you're using your abdominal muscles to feel a sense of lift. If you need to use your hands to help assist with that, feel free to, all good. Now, we're gonna press the palms here together, not as a sacred gesture, but really actually using the elbows to help keep the alignment of the knees. Notice if the knees are tending to roll in. It usually means that we're collapsing the arches of the feet. So try to lift that arch, try to lengthen the knees outwards, try to turn on the outer part of that hip. All right, it's gonna feel a little bit more stretch and focus into the hip sockets. And then in this position, let's open through the chest. So we're lengthening through the spine. So instead of rounding, we're actually feeling this long arc into the body. And then within that, little gentle stretch on the wrist, we're gonna reverse. So we're gonna bring the back of the hands together and pressing into those hands slightly so you feel this little release across the wrist. And then release through those hands. Draw the hands to the floor, lengthen the legs all the way up to the sky. So engaging the knees, and then scoop the core in so that you can spill the spine forward. Feel a release in the neck, let your head hang, let your shoulders relax. And then feel free to shift the hips side to side, however feels good and comfortable for you, as you create some light length and stretch around the inner thigh, the hips, and the lower back, feeling some wonderful mobility and openness in that space. And then bring that back to center. And soften those knees. Scoop the core in and then roll it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. All right, today is short and sweet, just to kind of lightly get into some openness, create a little stretch so that you can start your week with success. Also, feeling out that core, right? Giving the core maybe a little bit of a break. Your abs might be a little tired after the weekend. And I will see you guys tomorrow.